I am so excited to sit down with Gabe Leibowitz, team leader of the Leibowitz team at Douglas Elliman in Tribeca, our home office. I've been with Gabe my entire career.
That's right. That's right. Amazingly, it's been a while now.
Yeah.
We've dealt with COVID, we've dealt with a lot of other issues, and you're still standing.
And I'm still standing.
That is something that a lot of brokers can't say who started around that time. So,
yes.
You know, listen, you should be very proud of that.
Can you give a little bit of history as to your up and coming in real estate, where you started, where you went, where you're at now?
Totally. So I started in real estate in 2005, March 2005, sort of in that traditional position of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I really honestly had no idea, and sort of stumbled into a role at a rental brokerage and quickly learned two things. One, that I loved the field. I loved meeting new people. I loved being out and about. I loved the energy behind it. Two, I did not want to work for a brokerage that operated like this one did, and which sort of fit every stereotype you've ever heard about brokers. So, long story short, I wound up teaming up with my uncle who had a broker's license he wasn't using. We started up our own little shop. I decided to go to Elliman to just be at one of the bigger shops where I didn't have to think about anything at all and could just focus on being a broker. So I've been with Elliman since 2018. So I'm going on my 20th year in the business, start next year. I always want to make sure that there's somebody who can give that full attention, no matter the price point. And, you know, that's where the Leibowitz team at Elliman came from. You know, it's set up beautifully for what I want my brand to look like.
We have a particular style. We have a particular approach, not only from a marketing perspective, but also from a pricing perspective, how we handle the PDFs, how we handle show sheets. Can you speak a little bit about your approach to branding in the Leibowitz team?
So these are a couple of different topics, right? We have pricing strategy that I think we should get to separately in a moment. Branding, though, is really important, and there are two kinds of branding. You know, one branding is your personal brand, right? So like how you present yourself. And I got very into fashion in the early 2010s and really just created this.
You do have a very good sense of fashion.
I would call it a distinct style that won't necessarily be for everybody, right. But it is very me.
Yes, it is.
I feel very at home in my look. And I do consider it to be very distinct, and people do remember me because of it. Yeah. And I think that is important. You know, it doesn't matter what your personal brand is, as long as it's distinctly you. And is something that people are going to remember, but that's the guy that X, or that's the woman that Y. Right?
What would you say my personal brand is?
Magic. Magic, Adam.
Mr. Rogers meets magic.
Mr. Rogers meets... You know, there is a little bit of Mr. Rogers with an edge to you. I could see that, Mr. Rogers with an edge, right? You have everything works. You actually mix it up a lot.
Yeah.
You sort of dart from style to style depending on the moment. But,
yes.
You know, you definitely know how to dress up, dress down a suit, which I think is or dress down a sport coat, which I think is something I'm doing today, and which is one of the most important looks, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to point out that this is a conversation we can only really be having in residential real estate. In commercial real estate, you're in a suit and tie business, old school way. But in this field, you can mix it up, right? There are days that I will wear a suit and tie. There are days that I will wear a look like I'm wearing today. There'll be days I wear a full suit and a sport coat. You just need to know your audience and know and the neighborhood even, right? We're in Tribeca today. Tribeca is a great place to dress it down with some pop. If you're going to the Upper East Side, you might want to go a little more formal, a little more reserved. And I think those things are very important. And then, as far as team branding goes, what I always want people to think of is that we are super professional, that there is no hard selling. Listen, this is an industry where a lot of realtors are very aggressive with their approach. And listen, that works for some of them. I am not a judgmental person. I'm not judging. That's just not how we operate and generate our business. It doesn't work for us. So our branding is very much about, here's who we are. Here's our experience and what we know. Like I mentioned, 20 years in the industry for me. And this is why you should use us. You can trust us. If it's not selling, my goal is to remove any variable other than the price.
Yes, I use that. I think this is really important. It's important for me personally. Is one of the things that drew me to you when we first were introduced was your purpose-driven approach of warm relationships, taking care of every person like they were your own family, leading with trust. And I think there was a testimonial that somebody shared from a unit that you did, or maybe it was a friend of a friend that wrote this online, but they said that they've never met a more honest broker, even if it like works to our own detriment. It's like when we say, look, I never like to talk myself out of a commission.
Yeah, right. I will use that line.
Which is true, though.
It's true. I mean, I keep saying line, but I think what you're getting at is that it's not just a line.
It's
who we are.
It's who we are. And I think that goes into the way that we price. And I think that brings up the topic of pricing strategy. I think we're unique because I see a lot of listings out there that are sort of oddly priced. Maybe, if you're looking at a 500, like say a unit between 500,000 and 600,000, you'll see a 565 priced unit. And that's not really where we lead. We usually lead at the 95. We lead at the 45.
Maybe 50 if the seller's maybe a little sensitive.
Can you talk a little bit about that pricing strategy?
So I think there's a lot of value in following your agent's lead, but I also understand and respect that every owner has their own position and perspective on their property, and it's our job to sort of work with them as best we can to make sure they're comfortable throughout the process. Sometimes the seller just say, okay, but I want to try this. And we just had a listing like that, and that's fine. We're giving it a shot at the number that they want. They understand that our approach would have been different. We'll see what happens. We're here to assist and serve, but I do try to get in there that, listen, we've been doing this for a while, and there's a reason we come to the numbers that we do.
When you're choosing an agent, and when you're choosing who you want to work with,
I would like to work with myself or Adam Gerber.
I would like to work with us too. But I'll tell you why I would like to work with us. Because we will never steer you in the wrong direction. We lead with trust. We'll treat you like our own family. And I think based on what we discussed today, we have a clear marketing, pricing, and branding strategy that comes with the Leibowitz team. And it's a team. It comes with a number of people who are always going to be there no matter what.